Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Childish, back at it again with the third episode of the Critical Thinking with Childish. Um, I think this is probably going to be one of my favorite topics to talk about, as I'm extremely passionate about this topic. I've seen what optimizing this particular topic will do for a player in this game, um, and so um, as you might have guessed, as you're staring around at the runes here, I we'll be focusing on runes today and trying to cover all aspects of it. Basically, for the majority of my day, if I'm not playing the game, I'm checking out the App Invasion forums or my line group message, um, and I probably have you know probably need to go to the doctor really from the whiplash that I get from shaking my head back and forth when I have somebody come up to me and ask, hey, I have the same units as you, but I can't accomplish what you can. What am I doing wrong? And you take a look at the units before you even, check anything else as far as what type of units, if they got a balance of, DPS to heals to whatever, you can already guess that it's going to be runes. Unfortunately, everybody thinks that you need to have, 17 5-star monsters in order to beat this game, when that is not the case. You can do extremely well with all 3-star monsters. Obviously 4-star monsters and 5-star monsters will help, but depending on how you set them up with the runes and the quality of your runes is what could give you that edge as far as completing whatever your task you are able to do. So without further ado, I'll talk about different topics as far as these runes go. Real quick shout out to a nice YouTuber by the name of Fan Gaming. He provided some of the really in-depth grip of this information, so I'm going to try to summarize this as quick as I can. But if you are interested in learning a little bit more about that, definitely check his channel, as he provided some great information. So there's going to be 5 different runes. You got your normal, you got your magic, you got your rare, you got your hero, and then you got your legend. All right. And so, how do you dictate the difference between each of them? Normal's going to have 1 stat. Magic's going to have 2 stat. Rare's going to have 3 stats. And the hero are going to have 4 stats. And then, as you can see on the top, the legends are going to have 5 stats. So, depending on the quality of the rune, you're going to have more stats initially when you get them. However, as you level them up, you will gain stats at every 3 successful power ups, and obviously you can get any kind of stat or whatever. But when you're looking on what type of runes you get, it's nice to try to get the try to find the ones with the rarest ones, because you will already kind of know what subsets is on it, and you will know what the what subsets are going to be upgraded in general. I mean, it's not always going to go to the one you want, but you'll have a general idea of which ones to focus on. So, for example, the one on top, I believe I got this one as an original legend rune, and so having 3 percentage base attacks, or 3 percentage base substats for a rune of this size is going to be huge. You're definitely looking for percentage based substats runes. But going back to the 5 types, you have also different types of runes in general. So I'll kind of lay out 2 different runes here. You can see here, we got a normal violent rune, and then we got a cruel violent rune. So any of these runes have the opportunity of having a prefix, and the prefix will add an additional substat of whatever it is, whatever the prefix means, in addition to the rune. So even though this is a normal rune, which should state that it has 1 stat, because it's a prefix, it has a prefix on it, it's going to come with an additional stat to start. You will gain, stats as you go, as you level them up, but this one will have a 1 to start out with. So if you're not too sure what the cruel substat means, it's that whatever that prefix is right over here, it's going to relate to that stat that you got down there. So cruel runes, regardless of their energy or violent or focus, they're always going to provide a crit damage for that second stat. Let's see here. So you got the types of runes, you got the prefixes of runes, and then you got the attributes. So obviously with the primary attributes, you're going to, depending on what type of rune it is and what type of focus you're kind of going for, you're going to be looking for different types of runes. The primary substat is obviously going to be the bigger substat listed on every single rune up on the top there. And then your substats are going to be listed in small sprint below. Why is this important? Because you have particular units that have certain abilities that will make or break a fight when it comes to whatever your goal is, arena, defense, or whatever. So, as you've heard in my arena videos, you'll have a lot of people in the as far as the meta goes, always lead out with a speed leader, and then some kind of a support unit that can buff attack speed or attack gauge. Excuse me, a speed leader and someone that can buff the attack gauge, like Megan or Bernard or whatever like that. Well, my particular goal is to always lead with Megan if I can. And the reason being is there's no reason to try to focus on, the speed of 4 units when essentially you have the opportunity to raise one person's speed significantly to still, and that amount of speed can be greater than the amount of speed that your opponent's speed leader plus their buff will give you. So in this instance, I do not have enough speed to be competitive with the top end guys, but 158 speed is relatively okay. Your top end players are going to be shooting for 200 plus, but believe it or not, 158 has allowed me to get the lead in certain arena fights that basically allow me to, with my team being a very direct damage heavy team, rocking Megan, Ardella, Hua, and Rogue, I'm going to be, getting that first lead and able to utilize some very high single target DPS, as well as, a couple of abilities that will really allow me to just kind of one-shot a few units versus taking them down via AoEs, with 2 or 3 people. So what does that do for me? That allows me to take away 1 or 2 units, normally 2, at the beginning of the fight before they even get a chance. So even if they have some really good units that should beat my team, just the fact that I really focused on getting the speed on this, on a particular unit like this is going to, give me the edge. So, when focusing on, well, like I said, we'll kind of keep it this particular attack for speed. There's going to be your 6 slots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and each of them can provide a certain type of primary stats. So your top one is going to always have attack. This one is always going to be defense, hit point, defense percentage, defense hit point percentage, attack percentage, or speed. The third one is always going to be a defensive stat straight up. Fourth one is going to be defense percentage, hit point percentage, crit damage percentage, crit rate percentage, or attack and attack percentage. 5 is always going to be a straight hit point stat for the primary. And 6 is going to be defense, attack, hit point percentage. And then in addition to all of those regular stats and percentage-based stats, you're going to also have accuracy or resistance. So, depending on what you're focusing on, you're definitely going to, cater to all of those spots. But the big ones that need to be focused on are the ones that can have the percentage-based substats. So, as like I have right here, I'm trying to get our hit points up. So I'm gonna have, a percentage-based hit points. Why do I got a mix of, runes right here? Well, in this particular situation, my goal is to be the fastest I can be. My goal is to be able to survive in the fights, to be able to provide my utility, and my goal is also to use this utility and hit my opponents accurately. So if I don't have a combination of all 3 of these things, I'm not going to do really well. Whereas units of this nature, my particular goal is just to do as much damage as I possibly can. So because of that, I'm going to use attack-based percentage runes. Okay, um, and and let's say you don't have the best combination of unit or best combination of runes, but your goal is to increase a certain subset or whatever. Can it be done just with primary stats, or can it be done with secondary subsets? Most definitely. In this particular unit, this is one of the newer units. If you guys haven't seen this one, Kaz, even though he can do a relatively decent amount of damage, I use him, or I will be using him in replace for Rogue as my dungeon defense breaker. So my goal, his goal, is to basically focus on getting all of his debuffs to land, and try to have as much speed as I can so that I can continuously utilize these skills as fast as possible. So that being said, I'm going to focus on getting speed in here. That is important. But as you can see, I'm actually using a fatal set here. Um, and you're probably wondering, okay, well, why? Well, again, this is a utility class, so a utility is going to utilize a combination of things. So in this particular instance, even though he is fatal focus, I'm getting a little bit of defensive buff or attack percentage from the fatal set, and then focus percentage on the excuse me accuracy percentage on the focus set. Um, I'm still trying to provide a little bit of utility on the side to get his, or a speed on the side to get his speed up, so that he can get these debuffs on as fast as possible. But as you can see, since I'm using a fatal set, I am going to be using a little bit different makeup here. So how is it that I have 2 points less of speed than my Megan right over here, but all of my units, or all of my how do I say? Even though I have just a little bit under Megan, he is a lower level unit, and the runes are not as good. You notice that Megan has a few more legend runes that have plus 12 stats, but these particular runes are rare, plus 6, plus 9. They're not all the way upgraded. So how can that be? Well, that's going to come from the substats. So as I stated before, the focus on the 2, 4, 6 slots, 2, 4, 6, are going to be percentage-based ones, and then of course try to get some subsets here when you can. But on the other slots, even though I know that they're attack, defense, and hit point based, I'm going to be looking for substats on here that are going to enhance the effects of what I'm trying to do with the units. So take a look at this one, for example. Right here, I got plus 7 speed. For a 4-star rune, that's not too bad. Here's another 4-star rune, plus 14 speed, which again, that is extremely well. If you can get the double digits in speed on a particular rune, that is really well, and especially if you find that in a 4-star rune, that is really, really well. Same thing here again. This one is like a combination of both, where I'm getting the speed and I'm getting the extra hit points that I want to keep this guy alive. And then, of course, right here, I do not have an extra accuracy rune that I want to put on this guy, but I know that he needs hit points, and this particular one has a little bit of accuracy on it, so I'm going to rock that one. However, I can at any time switch this out for an attack-based rune with some accuracy subsets, or I can switch this out for an accuracy-based rune with extra hit point or attack substats. It just kind of depends on what rune you get and what combinations you can make out of it. But at the end of the day, the goal is to get the best overall stats of the runes regardless of the set makeup. The set bonuses are going to help you out initially when you get started, as far as getting those initial stats up. But at the end of the day, when you start getting into these 6-star runes, you're not really going to be too concerned with how the set is, so to speak. And I'll kind of give you an example. This particular unit has been the how do I say, the method to my madness, or however you would say it. And when you look at it initially, as you guys have seen in some of the videos, it is one-shotting units anywhere from 20K, and I think I had even a 31.2K hit recorded. I think the highest was ever 31.8 or 31.9. I haven't gotten over 32. But how can that be? Because everybody says you have to run a rage blade combination with this particular unit in order to do it. Well, that's not the case with me, and I'll show you why. At the end of the day, when you're getting yourself some 6-star runes, you're gonna be focused on the primary stats, but you're going to be looking at the substats, and the substats that can enhance the abilities of this unit is going to be crit rate, crit damage, and speed. So as you can see right here, this one has 12% crit rate and 8 speed, and then a little bit more attack percent damage. This one, my first 6-star rune, I have almost 20% crit rate, which is technically the set bonus of 2 blade runes. So that's huge. In addition to that, crit damage and defense, that always helps or whatever, but my focus is more on just the crit rate, crit damage, and then for that particular rune, the substat. So moving on, this one here, I'm getting the crit damage substat and the crit rate substat again. Since I didn't have a really high attack damage rune, I had a crit damage rune, and I know that this particular unit has a high, passive critical rate. So I'm going to be damaging with a critical attack more so than often. So on here, my focus is crit damage. But in addition to that, you can see that I have some other, decent percentage hit point and defense percentage stuff. Speed is going to be another big one there. So that's why I got that one. Here, the attack percentage is 13, which for most people that are using, junk 3-star runes that are +6, they're going to give about 16% attack. I'm getting that particular amount of stats in a substat. And then again, this one, more crit rate, more crit damage. You guys see the trend. So even with a different type of overall set, I'm still, have over 2,000 attack, about 700 defense. So even though this unit is normally squishy, she can take a hit, and she has a relatively decent amount of hit points for a 6-star, squishy unit, so to speak. I try to get all my units upwards of 12K if I can, but it doesn't always happen that way. So moving on, and probably the last topic that I'll hit up on is going to be the topic of rune sets. Okay, are rune sets important? Yes, initially, but can it be done without having the recommended rune set? Of course. When you start getting into the high quality runes, it really doesn't matter what the... I don't even know which guy I clicked. Oh, good game. I clicked the wrong guy. So I'm trying to click on my boy here, Jim Loves Me, which for anybody who's been following, I think he's part of the Yazi clan out there, who's notably one of the top clans in the world right now. And he showcases a variety of units that have a variety of runes. And so I was going to go ahead and kind of put you on to that. So, in this particular situation with his Hua, he has a violent set, right? But normally, for people that use Hua, it can be swift focus, it can be violent focus, but, you always see somebody trying to get the benefits of 2 rune sets. Well, in this particular situation, his goal is to get his hit points and his accuracy as high as possible. So, in order for him to do that, he has to use different runes of a vampire set and a swift set. He's not going to get that 2-set bonus, but if you take a look at his substats here on both these runes, some of these runes substats equal those set bonuses. So this is why it's extremely important to always strive for the highest quality runes you can get. It is a lot of money. It is going to cost a lot of money to upgrade them. I've seen people have horror, I've heard of horror stories of spending, over $1.5 million just upgrading a rune from, plus 12 to plus 14. They didn't even get to plus 15, and some people get it done in 500,000 mana. It just kind of depends what it is. But at the end of the day, these are the best of the best runes, and you're going to, you're going to be using them till the day you finish playing this game. These 6-star runes are not going anywhere. They are the best quality that is offered at this game. So again, this guy, Fire Viking, most notably known for being utilized in the Dragon Dungeon B10 in order to clear it with ease. I'm sure there's a nice recommended set for this, and anyone could look it up. But as you can see right here, he doesn't even have 2 set bonuses. He has just 1. Okay, but if you take a look at his stats out best pretty much 99% 99% of the units I have, or any of you have for that matter. Why is that? Because of the quality of the runes. They're all 6-star. They're all high substats. Okay, and at the end of the day, those substats are going to play a vital role in whatever your goal may be, arena or dungeon. So again, I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it just like that. I think I got my point clear that the importance of rune is going to be vital for your progression. And if you want to clear some of the end game content, that's going to be the goal of mine. I have to this day cleared upwards of B Dragon 7, cleared all the giants, all the Hall of Magics, and I can't show it here, but I've cleared every element to B10. Was I able to do it by myself on certain ones? Yes. Was I need the help of a friend for a few of them? Yes, I did too. That being said, if I did not have the runes, the quality that I needed them, regardless if I had a 6-star friend or not, it's not going to make a difference. Don't spend your time going in these chat channels, sitting here trying to, wait until some random person that sounds intelligent to talk, notice he has a 6-star rune, and try to friend them all, trying to get all these friends because you think that you need a 6-star friend in order to beat this game. One 6-star friend, hear me out, one 6-star friend is not going to make a difference if you're still rocking 4-star Mac units with 1-star runes. All right? That's just the way it is. If you don't do your part to upgrade your runes, no one, no friend, no nothing is going to be able to help you. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Hopefully for the most of you that, found this informational, you could take it to your friends, pass it on to them if they need to, because a lot of people will play with these friends and get frustrated because they're not being able to do how good they're doing. And so, pass it on to them. Let them know this information, because unfortunately Come To Us doesn't give us a good breakdown sometimes of some of the basic fundamentals of the game on how to improve. And so, it comes down to YouTubers all around the world to, help us provide this information and give it out to the community. So share it if you need to, all right? I'm going to leave you guys with that for the 3rd episode of Critical Thinking with Childish. Thank you guys again for your support, and I appreciate you guys supporting my cause. So take care, and we'll see you next time.